We'll move to Sathish Bala. Satish is a serial entrepreneur, and specifically today is working on homeschooling and AI in the homeschooling space. So Satish is going to take us through something that he's doing right now, which I think is very relevant, how AI can help in schooling as well. So over to you, Satish, if you want to tell us a brief about yourself and then get to the slides, please. Welcome again.
Amazing. Thanks, Vijay. Thanks, everybody. It's nice to come back. It's been a while since I've had a chance to share some thoughts with the amazing community that you guys have built. And so thank you for the opportunity. 30-second intro. Like Vijay said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship was a way to sort of figure out what I want to do in life coming out of computer science at Ryerson. Didn't know what kind of job I wanted to go into, but my natural sort of tendencies to look at what's the problems in the world and how can I fix it. And so that led to a journey of 25 years of building and exiting 3 different tech startups. And the last one I exited was in 2017. And I spent the next 2 years working exclusively with startup founders on helping their businesses get to market with Ryerson and my own private investment that I was doing. But COVID kind of changed everything. And as I said a minute ago, I like solving problems. The biggest problem I was having when COVID hit was I got 2 kids at home with no access to education, and parents turning into teachers was becoming such a stressful home experience. And so I do what I do best, which is try to find a solution. And if that turns into a company, awesome. And that launched Schoolio that we soft launched in April and then went to market August 1st. We can get to those slides. So, I wanted to chat a little bit about AI. And, there was a time where AI was very technical, very code heavy. It was imagination. A lot of people just on an everyday level just never understood what is AI. And the simplest way for me to explain it is think of it as a second brain, or in some cases, maybe a third brain if, technology is in between. But ultimately, what AI has been able to do is demonstrate that things that we do every single day, that we process from a human filter, can also be processed through a digital filter. And almost everything you do today has a level of AI that's developed behind the scene to empower you and help you. So something as simple as, logging onto Netflix tonight, there's an AI behind the scene that's learning what you like to watch, how long you watch it, what's your favorite types of movies at 12 and 1 a.m. when you're just surfing versus 6 p.m. when you're trying to watch a valuable movie. The audio you consume, the content you consume, every little thing that you touch, when you sort of pay attention to it, there's another brain that's processing that information for you. And I believe, AI is an incredible strategic thinking in every business. Doesn't matter what business you're in. There's something you can do to take the stress of the customers thinking about your business by automating something. And when I got excited about Schoolio, the obvious problem we wanted to solve is access to home education. Parents that are either homeschooling or looking for support for after school just didn't have a way to easily access it. And when schools were open, we didn't really care as parents. We dropped the kids off in school, picked them up at 3:30. And unless the teacher told you the kid is not doing well, we didn't care about tutoring and additional support. It just kind of happened. But when schools shut down, there was no access to curriculum. We wanted to solve that problem by opening up the doors to the school system, exposing the Canadian curriculum for parents, and rewriting it in such a way that parents at home can feel comfortable about teaching math and science and language and social studies in the comfort of their own living room. It also allowed us to create an equality because so much of tutoring and after school support is pretty expensive. And a lot of us don't have the extra cash flow to be able to afford $200-300 a week. So becoming transparent in the school system, creating an affordable way for people to get support with education was really important. But the third thing that really sort of excited us is in school, the only sort of measurement of a child is the report card we get. And it usually focuses very much on the kid's academic performance in school, but it doesn't take into account the personality of the child, the learning needs of the child. And rightfully so, a teacher with 20 or 30 kids in a class can't really, with her or his brain, look at all of the different things that are happening in school. So we wanted to sort of take three things and see where we can apply some new innovation and new AI tools to it. Next slide, please. So at its core, we have learning tools, we have tutoring, and we have the full curriculum. But when we looked at learning assessments and we looked at virtual tutoring, we said, okay, we can do the basic, connect a teacher and a kid. They have a Zoom call, they have an hour, and then the experience is over. Or what more can we learn from the same instance? So we started looking at how can we use AI to understand the content. So imagine I am now coaching you or teaching you, but the whole video could be now plugged into a transcriber, which then starts to look at all the keywords in our conversation that continues to repeat itself. And we can take that data and plug it into a model that allows us to look for learning inefficiencies, areas where the child is really excited about a topic, and we can start to understand what's their language and comprehension around education. And those are things that a tutor cannot do in a one-on-one session. You just do not have the brain skills and the attention to be able to look and see things that you can't visually see. So that's one way that we are bringing AI into our tutoring and education program. The other thing we're doing is taking the same video lesson and now putting it through a video face tracking technology, and now we can start to map facial emotions and lack of or a display of emotion. And those are, again, things that the human eye is going to miss or can't see a pattern or understand over time what those things mean. But now, simply taking that single 1 hour tutoring session, we're able to convert that experience into 3 or 4 different types of data set, which gives us a very unique and holistic vision of what that child is in terms of learning, their interests, their ability to retain information. And now if we can arm the parents with that data and also arm the schools with that data, how much more effective can we help that child progress through education? And I've always firmly believed the point of school and the point of higher education is to build the confidence in the kids that they can learn anything. And so if we can teach them a different formula, will the next generation embrace education from a different perspective because they're confident that they can learn anything in the world. And AI allows us to now do that very simply within the same context of tutoring and education and lesson as a new layer of brain. So next slide, please. So I know there's some questions coming up. We'll totally answer it. But I wanted to just sort of give you guys some framework around what is AI and then how is it actually usable in a real business that we're building. And if you can take a step back and imagine whatever startup you want to start or business you're in, you can start to think about what are the things my customers are thinking about that I can now create a brain to service them a little bit faster and a little bit better. And all the different data points that we as humans will miss can be picked up by the smarter technology to add value to your business. So I hope that helps.